So today we would be starting with the Power BI and the analytical related concepts. Now, how different Power BI is. Rather than deep diving into Power BI directly, we'll first try to understand what exactly the analysis means, the data analysis means, what exactly the reporting means. Now, first we have to um, get an idea what exactly we as a data analyst have to do. So that all aspects we are going to cover today. And then we, at the end, maybe touch base the Power BI. Why only Power BI? Why not any other data analytical tool? So that we are going to kind of see the difference, and we come to a conclusion maybe by end of this session that only Power BI as of now is the market leader with few of the comparisons. Now, moving further, the session is more productive, or the session is more into introduction to Power BI, but deep diving into reporting, deep diving into data analytics first, and then we would be moving to the Power BI. The agenda is importance of visualization. Why only visualization? How visualization plays an important role in any data analytical related concepts. Now, why Power BI? What are other tools present in market? Apart from Power BI, there are many other tools. Now, we have to do a comparison. We have to make sure that we are learning the right tool or not. That we have to come up to a point. Few reasons to learn Power BI. There are few reasons. Now, reasons means it could be a difference. It could be a comparison between multiple market tools, multiple BI tools. At the end, we are going to see how exactly the Power BI works, what all components are there in the Power BI. And maybe we would be, if time permits, we would be seeing few installation steps. A few installation steps. Installation of Power BI is pretty straightforward. We don't have to, there isn't any specialization. There isn't any specific way of downloading. It's simple or pretty straightforward. That also we are going to see. Now, prior going to that, let's have a normal discussion. How many of you are good in reading books? How many of you are good in reading novels? We have around 65, 64 people. How many of you are good in reading books? Okay. Ankit, are you good in reading all the novel books, or either of them has to be? Or is it that no one is interested to read the novels? No one is interested to rather read books.
Once in a while, Ritesh, it happens once in a while, yeah.
Okay, Gauri has raised her hand. Okay, so you are good in reading novels, or you are good in reading normal books, any reference books or any technical books, a kind of reference books, the books which are available in library.
Books, Ritesh, books or stories, or any theoretical stories, suspense, thrillers, like that.
Cool. So now we have only 2 or 3 folks who are good in reading, but I would also rather ask a question that how many of you read newspapers nowadays? Newspapers means the printed media, not the newspapers which is online, which is available online. Okay. So Vijay says that he reads a newspaper. See, there are very, very rare cases that people nowadays are, they usually try to get newspapers in their homes, but very rarely they read that newspaper. Probably in the newspaper also, they try to see wherever there is a picture or not. With that picture, with that visual, they try to understand what exactly is this news about. Now that goes same with the news. Most of them are moving towards the online news. The online news means either you're using your social media apps, there itself the news is coming. Maybe your Instagram, maybe your Facebook. With the help of a normal pic, with the help of a visual, they try to send, or they try to give a small one-liner news. With that, you assume that this is what is going around us. This is what the news, this is what the current affair is. Now, let's understand in this session, or probably in this course, we would be learning all the tools related to Microsoft only. Now, all the tools related to Microsoft means Power BI is a product of Microsoft. Apart from Power BI, we are also going to learn the Microsoft Azure, which is also a product of Microsoft. Now, Azure means Azure Cloud, complete Azure Cloud stack, whichever is required for a data analyst point of perspective. Now, both are the products of Microsoft. How many of you know who have founded Microsoft? Who is the founder of Microsoft? Anyone who knows who's the founder of Microsoft? You might have heard his name. You might have seen him in social media. Somewhere or other, you have seen him.
Bill Gates.
Okay.
Someone like Paul, I am not sure. Some Paul.
Cool. So I guess Gauri is very good in reading because, as she said, she also uses some reference books. She also goes through some reference books. Microsoft was founded by two people. Usually, we only tend to go by one name, whose name is Bill Gates. Yes, he was the main person, but apart from him, there was another guy. That person name was Paul Allen. Now he's no more, but still the co-founded, or you could say both of them were co-founders of Microsoft. Now that is the importance of understanding the background. Now usually Bill Gates, we see him, we have heard his name, we might see his pictures all around the social media. If there is any product launch related to Microsoft, wherever we go related to Microsoft, his name is there. His name or his pic is there. Whereas the other person, whose name is Paul Allen, he also co-founded the same Microsoft with Bill Gates. Now, both of them are co-founders. If there are two founders, we usually call them, both of them are co-founders. So whatever we see around us, that we try to understand, that we try to learn it more, that we try to grasp it more. That is why visualization is important. Yeah, apart from visualization, one who is good in reading, then only he tries to understand what exactly the background is about. As Gauri said, I guess she is the only person who have said that apart from Bill Gates, there was another person called as Paul Allen. Now, importance of visualization that is the most important factor. Now, this is how you usually get a text. Maybe a type of advertisement, maybe a type of any storytelling, that means a novel, maybe your daily newspaper. Very rarely you come across these situations in your life nowadays, especially nowadays. We are always going through a picture. Wherever there is a pictorial representation, our mind itself diverts there. Rather than a normal text, wherever a normal text is mentioned, wherever, in case of novel, there are very rare chance that there is a picture or a pictorial representation there. So that is why many people tend to skip. They don't read that novel. They don't read any reference book. Whereas they always try to read a newspaper wherever there is a pictorial representation. Now, that is how a normal human brain works. This is not maybe someone's fault, maybe your own individual fault. No, this is not the case. Our human brain works that way. Wherever you see a pictorial representation, a visualization there, our brain tend to focus more there rather than a normal text. Now, that is how the importance of visualization is. Visualization analogy. 90% of the information which you see as a picture, always try to, that information is stored in our mind. We never forget that information. Whereas if you're trying to read a text, probably very rare chance you'll come across that one of the word or one of the line you try to remember after 1 day or 2 days. Maybe at that current instant, you can remember what you're trying to learn. But after 1 or 2 days, most of us, around 70-80% of us, try to forget what we have read. If there is a pictorial representation, with that information, maybe one-liner information, and a picture is present there, we usually get that information in very fast way. The importance of visualization is that great. How much people try to retain? If you see 90% of the information is transmitted via a visual in a normal human brain, we try to remember 95% of this. Now, if a person is reading a novel, most of our movies nowadays are all novel-based movies or all story-based movies. Some or other reference of that movies are present in the historical novels, or maybe any novels which are written by writers nowadays. But we will never come across that novel. Most of them will always go and watch a movie rather than reading that novel. Why? Because visualization is the important aspect. Whatever you see with your eyes, you try to transmit that data, you try to understand that data. The importance of visualization. Now, this is not in last, maybe I'm not talking about last 10 years. If you rewind it back to last 20 or 25 years also, the human brain works the similar way. Maybe that in 20, 25 years back, the importance of reporting, the importance of visualization was not that great. But the recent introduction with multiple tools, with the industry trend, maybe the amount of data it is growing, more you visualize, more you try to see it in a pictorial format, the more you remember. So around 60,000 times faster our human brain works if you see a normal picture rather than a normal text. If there is a text here, this is a text. Now there is a text written here. Okay, we can read it, but maybe after 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, 1 month, or probably after 1 year, we try to forget this. But if you see a picture, we can remember it for a longer duration. Now, the speed at which the information is transmitted to our brain, now these are all average numbers. The speed at which the information is transmitted to our brain, if it's a picture or a pictorial representation, is almost 60,000 times faster than a normal text. Okay, the memory is also stored for a longer duration, but apart from that, the information is also transmitted in a faster manner. Faster manner means understanding what that picture tries to say rather than reading a normal text. The importance of visualization in current world. Now, let us move further. We have understood that what exactly visualization does. With this visualization, how a human brain tends to retain that information for a longer duration. And it also tries to understand that any pictorial representation rather than a normal visual, rather than a normal story or a pure text. Now, let me give you some information here. Now, below is the table, which gives us some understanding related to the iPhone market share. How many of you in this group own an iPhone? Okay. So I've seen 3 or 4 people who owns an iPhone. Okay, 4 of them, 5 of them. Cool. So this is a random information, or random means this information has been taken from the Apple team itself, the worldwide market share of iPhone. Which region has the highest number of market the iPhone has? Now, if you see worldwide, 27 or 28% of the mobiles are iPhone related mobiles. Now we have a competitor called as Android. There are some other phones, there are some other competitors also, but the biggest competitor is Android here. Okay, accepted. But worldwide, there is around 28% of market share which belongs to my iPhone, of which around 100% of, now if you compare it, this 28% is an aggregated market, but out of all the market share, 54% is coming from North America, 14% is coming from South America, around 15% of sales is coming from Asia. Now, this is how the market is clustered. Now, this information, if you randomly see it, or maybe you are trying to analyze it, in your brain, you will always first think what an iPhone look alike, your visualization. Now, this is common for everyone. This is common for everyone. And which region? Now, which region means worldwide. If you think about this worldwide, the world map comes into picture, the complete world map which we have. The complete world map comes into picture. Now, if you think about North America, the one people who are good in geography, people who are good in understanding the map, North America will come somewhere here like this. Now, you'll try to visualize it. Here is the North America, which has around 54.76 market. 76% of market share. Now, somewhere below North America, there is a South America also. Somewhere below North America, there is a South America. You'll try to visualize every region. Now, this is Asia. Now, if you come to Asia, you'll try to visualize how an Asia belongs. Asia is very large, one of the largest continent. You'll try to visualize Asia there. If you're visualizing, if you're going to Europe, you'll visualize Europe somewhere here. Now, this is how a normal brain works. Even if the information is given in a table format, you'll always try to visualize it in the background. Maybe one who are good in geography, they'll always have a worldwide map here, and who also knows where that continent belongs to, where that particular region belongs to. Now, this is how the understanding of information is important. But here, this is only a table representation. This is complete table representation. Now, if you share this information with the end person or maybe stakeholder, it is very difficult for him also to visualize it. Every time he has to visualize a worldwide map, where that continent or where that region belongs to. And then he has to understand, okay, this is where this region belongs to, and this is what the market share is about. Now, if this information, I show it in this format, this is a simple bar chart. Maybe I'll call it as column chart. This is simple column chart. 99%. Now, why am I saying 99? I could have said 100. There is a 1% chance that a person who is good in reading novels, good in reading textbooks, good in reading reference books, he will always prefer this one. Why? Because we have a text format information rather than visualizing. This 1% chances are there, but 99% people will always try to get this information via a pictorial representation, maybe a graphical representation. This is more a kind of graph. Now, if you share it with the stakeholder also, he'll always try to say that I want this information in this format. Why? Because it is easier to understand and it will transmit. As I've said, 99% people will get this information 60,000 times faster than a normal text or a table format. The importance of visualization. Now, let us take a few more examples. The proverb or the sentence itself says, a picture is worth 1,000 words. If you write 1,000 words and if you try to show that in a one single pictorial format, it will try to answer you with one single picture. That is how the importance of picture is about. Now let us move further. Let us get some examples. Now, this is a normal table format. Now more a kind of text format. Now, if you see here, January, February, March, April, 12 months of information is present. Sales is present and revenue is present. Now here, if you try to analyze, if you try to think about this data which is present, which month has the highest sales? Now you have to scan it from the first condition itself. Which month has the highest sales? Okay, around March. March has the highest sales, which is around 1,800. Now, which month has the highest revenue? You have to scan it from first month itself, January, February, okay, March. So if I scan till end, somewhere I'll get February month has the highest revenue generated. Now, this is only 12 months information. Probably in real time, if you're working on any project, if you're working on any data analytical related projects, you will come across this situation where last 10 years of information is there. Now you have to analyze. If you're working on Excel, every time you have to sort it by ascending or by maybe by descending. And then you have to make sure which month, which year has the highest sales and which month and which year has the highest revenue if you're working on 10 years of data. Whereas if I show it in this format, it is pretty straightforward. Which month has the highest sales? March. With this green line, which indicates sales, we don't have to think much. We don't have to see every month sales. This has the highest point. This is where we can assume this has the highest sales. Now, blue represents revenue. February. This is where the blue line is peaking about. The peak is here. Month of February has the highest revenue. Month of March has the highest sales. Rather than going and scanning each and every line and then coming up to conclusion, if this information is transformed to this pictorial representation, this will solve us. And as I've said, this is more faster to understand and easier to interpret. Now let us take a few more examples. Now this will create a confusion. Which product or maybe which phone has the highest sales and from which store? Or rather, which store has the highest sales? Now, you'll always get information in a cleared or a filtered format. No, that is not the way. That is not the case in every time. As a data analyst, you will get this information randomly also, maybe somewhere upward, down. There would be duplicacy of data. There would be a data which is not cleaned. We have to work sure. We have to make sure that we are cleaning the data. But if you get the data in this format, which store and which product has the highest sales? It is very difficult to understand. We have to open a calculator. We have to open a notebook or maybe Excel workbook and try to make this in a different format. Now, if I show it in a pictorial format, pretty straightforward. Store 2 has the highest sales. Store 3 is second and store 1 is the third one. There are only 3 stores, but still it is trying to create a confusion. But if this is interpreted in a pictorial format, this will solve our question in 2 minutes, probably 2 minutes or maybe 2 seconds also. If you're using a Power BI, just drag and drop whichever visual you want and drag and drop the columns. It will solve our problem. Importance of reporting. Why people are moving from Excel? Okay, even in Excel, there is a condition, there are multiple charts available, but with the introduction of Power BI, Excel is also a product of Microsoft, but with the introduction of Power BI, people are moving to Power BI. Why? Because Power BI has a more impact. Maybe number of visuals are more there. We have a better cleaning tool available in Power BI, and we can share that reports with multiple people. Maybe not our backend data, only the front end reports or charts which we are creating, we can share it with the stakeholder. Whereas in case of Excel, probably we have to share along with data set that also is visible to the stakeholder. Stakeholder is only, his only focus is in order to understand which store has the highest sales. He's least bothered about which product is coming from which store. He wants that as an aggregate information so that he can make sure what decision has to be made. The importance of visualization, importance of reporting. Time consuming, easier to understand, way more easier to grasp. Now moving further, we have seen few importance of visualization. Now, as I've said, not every time you'll get the data in a sorted format or in a filtered format. As a data analyst, apart from visualization, first and foremost thing is understand the data. Background information is important. Understand the background information. Whatever background information is present, first understand that. Then you can think about what this data look like. How should we clean? How should we filter out the data? Filtering is an important concept for a data analyst. Unless the data is filtered, you may need not create any reports. Okay, this can be directly dragged and dropped to a normal visual and you can get this information. But in case you're getting the information in many other formats, maybe some iPhone assume that there is one more column here, the date column. There is a date column, and in this date column, iPhone on a particular day was sold. This is the date column, and probably today, assume today, that is 18th of January, an iPhone was sold in 2023. And on the same day, a duplicate record came into picture with the same store. Now, Store one iPhone, we do have store one iPhone somewhere repeated. No, I'll take it as a new record. Store one iPhone. Same information is there, which is of 70,000. And on same date, 18th of January 2023. Now today's 24, but same on 18th of January 2023, in the same store, iPhone with same price was sold. How many of you think this information is correct? How many of you think this information is duplicate?
Both the cases are possible, right?
Okay, how is it possible?
So if you want to analyze the same phone of sold things, and we can check by invoice copy or invoice number. Based on that, and we can aggregate the things, right?
Cool. So that is how you should first go back and understand, okay, this might look as a duplicate data, but maybe the same phone on that same day was sold to multiple people, or even one person have purchased two products, but the invoice number is different. Backdrop of information, understanding the information is important. The first thing is understand background information, then only go with filtering. If you directly go with filtering, what you'll do? Either you'll delete this record or either you'll delete this record, or maybe you'll filter out either of them record. But rather than filtering, first try to analyze. This could be a case of same product, same price, same day, including same person, but he has purchased two different iPhones. Invoice number is different. Their IMEI number is different. That is how the background or background information works. Understand it and then go with filtering. The role of data analyst is not only visualization, understanding the information and filtering the information is also an important factor. Now, moving further, see, this is more about individual product sales. Now here, from this, it is very difficult to understand which product has the highest sales. Okay, we might have accepted that with the iPhone, which is costing around 70K, 75K, 85K, but the number of iPhones sold are only 3, whereas the number of Samsung products are more. Okay, even there is a slight change that is only 5,000 increase, but with this pictorial representation, it is very easier to understand. Maybe our human brain thinks that way, that a product, a premium product, if you compare even Samsung OnePlus with iPhone, iPhone is a premium product. We always assume that iPhone would be having highest sales. But whereas with this pictorial, with this data which we have in a table, if you try to analyze with a picture, you try to analyze with a normal chart, there you'll get the backdrop information that Samsung has the highest sales with this information which we have. There is a slight change, 5%, or maybe I'll keep it as 5K increase, not 5%, 5K increase. Now, if you want to calculate what is the increase or what is the difference of sales between iPhone and Samsung, how would you do? You'll take the iPhone sales here, you'll divide it by the Samsung sales, or you'll divide it by the total sales. I want to find what is the percentage difference between the sales of each product. Total sales is, you will get percentage sales of iPhone. Difference between one product to another product. Mathematics, your mathematical concepts comes into picture. For that mathematical concept, there is a concept called as DAX, data analysis expression. Now this is related to, this is the only part where you will have to understand, where you will have to remember formulas, and you can call it as maybe a coding part. I'm not saying it as purely coding, because you need not write 10 lines or 15 lines of DAX. That is not required. You only have to remember few formulas. With these formulas, you have to write what the requirement is. I mean, you have to sort out what that requirement is about. The only coding part, or the only part where formulas are required in Power BI is DAX, and this will only accumulate 20% of Power BI. Other than There's 20%. 80% of Power BI is purely non-coding. Now that we are going to see further, we have seen few examples related to visualization, how it plays an important role. Think on this, how can we get the percentage increase between both the product sales? Now moving further, let us take a banking use case scenario. Now you'll come across many banks, maybe out of all 77, I guess every person has a bank account. Even if you're working, or maybe even if you're not working professional, you will have a normal savings bank account. Now, in the same banking scenario, we have a requirement. Now, we have a use case that a bank is trying to launch a new credit card. They're trying to launch a new credit card and they want to send few information details related to credit card to its multiple customers. Now, how they will send, how they will analyze that data, we are going to see it today. Now, assume that a credit card has been launched. Yes. Now, with this introduction of credit card, probably assume that this is a SBI credit card. Now, why am I taking SBI only? It's one of the largest banks in India, and they have every group, age group of people who holds an account with SBI. There are people who are holding pension accounts. There are people who are holding the scholarship accounts, your school or college accounts. There are people who are holding the salary accounts. And there are people who are holding the special accounts related to, any lady related schemes, your gas subsidies. So this is the only bank, or probably every nationalized bank has many people who holds an account. Now, if SBI is launching a new credit card, first, what they will do, they will first try to analyze what is the age group, which is the best fit, who can get this credit card, who can opt this credit card. Usually a person with age of 25 plus up to 55 can take. I'm saying only 55. If a person is having a business, he also holds a current account. There are also current accounts in any bank. If a person who's having a business, he holds a good credit score, as well as he holds a very good business outcome, he can also take a credit card prior 55 also. But usually this is the best fit age. Why? Because in this age, you are a working professional. Now, this is how a SBI will first try to analyze. First filter is age. They'll try to filter out age criteria. With this age criteria, you'll also get second option, person who has a current account, who have a very good business. They'll also try to filter out people who are from 55 plus age also. Now, after this, second filter criteria, what would be? Second filter criteria would be, what type of account is it? Is it a pension account? Okay. People might get retired at the age of 45 also, and they'll also start with their pension from 46 or 45 itself. If you send an SMS, if you send an offer to that particular customer, it is simply waste of service. SBI wants to some amount to be utilized. They are spending some amount to send SMSs. They are spending some amount to send this notification. If they randomly send notification to every customer in the SBI, it is simply waste of energy, or maybe simply waste of money also. First, they have to analyze which age group is best fit. Then they have to analyze which person is holding what kind of account. The best fit is salary account. Why? Because you're getting salary on monthly basis. With that, a credit card bill payment can be made on monthly basis. Or that is the best fit person, or that is the best fit group. Salary is the best fit group. Now, in case of current account also, maybe a person who is holding an individual business, that person has to be filtered out. If in case you're trying to send an SMS to a person who has a business with a credit card, this is what the credit card is about. We are launching it. Would you like to join us? Would you like to take that credit card? Now, we have seen two filter criteria. One is age, one is salary, and one is maybe current account and salary belongs to both same category. Now, third most important category of filtering here is, if a person is a current account or a salaried person, you want to give a credit limit to a credit card. Credit card comes with a credit limit. Maybe the same credit limit is not given to all the people. A person with 10,000 salary, there is a risk of giving him complete 10,000 credit limit. Maybe we give him a 5K. A person with only 50,000 salary, assume that a person has a 50,000 salary, we will not give him a credit limit of 5K. We'll always give him a credit limit of around 40K, which he can pay. Or a person with 2 lakhs, this is his monthly salary, we can always give him a credit limit of around 1.5 or even more than 2.5 or 2 or 2.5. Now there is a chances of understanding what credit limit, what is his monthly income. Depending on that, we have to send a SMS. So the third most filter criteria is salary or monthly income. Whatever monthly income is, depending on that, we have to send SMS. Usually a person with 10K salary will always skip credit card SMS. Why? Because he's in not that position to take a credit card, and a credit card with 5K credit limit is of no use, simply no use. Maybe a credit card with 40K limit is good to go. Anything less than 40K in current world, it is of no use. Now that SBI has to figure out whether a monthly income of that person is good enough to apply that credit card or not. Now there are multiple filter criteria. Now if I show it in terms of graph, this is how a graph look like. Usually a credit card information is given to a person where his spending is high. This is the best fit age, 35 to 45, because a person is salaried here. Apart from salaried, his salary is good enough to get a credit card with more than 40K limit. The second most best fit age is 25 to 35, where he has just started earning, similar salaried person, and his spending is also high, maybe not that high as compared to 35 and 45, because in this age group, a person tries to buy maybe house, maybe any financial property or any property which is non-asset or non-moving property. But with this age group, person is more interested to try new products. Any electronic product he's trying to purchase, maybe iPhone, maybe your in-house TVs, your sound or music system. So we have to first analyze, this is how a graphical representation is there. Now this graphical representation, what it is trying to convey, every age group is there. With that age group, what is the amount of online or cash transactions they are doing? There are few people in SBI who have a very good account balance, but they only do cash transactions. If an SBI sends SMS to that person, it is simply waste of their money. Why? Because he's only interested in cash transactions. He's least bothered about online transactions. Maybe he's staying in the rural area. Even if his age is between 35 to 45, his income is good, but he is only focusing on cash transactions. Now that is not valid. So SBI or maybe any bank, if they are launching any specific product, the first and foremost thing is they'll first analyze which people in our bank are the best fit to this product. Depending on that, they'll try to filter out the information. First is understanding the background info, then is filtering the information, and then further going ahead with the sending SMSs. Now, with that sending, I mean, if you first understand background information, if you filter that, this is how the pictorial representation look like. And then you can come up to conclusion that with this, the people who are best fit is this group. Now, there could be multiple dots here. Dot means every dot belongs to an individual person. Now, you have to filter out how many dots are present, how many people are present with this graph within this area, this highlighted area, this complete highlighted area, and you have to send SMSs to these many set of people. Data analyst role. Very, very important. How can we get this all 3 or 4 steps done? Now, let us take one more example. I want you to answer. Now, this is the information which we have. The first line itself says data cleaning example. See, Ankit, his gender is male. Hema, his gender is, or her gender is FEM. What is this FEM? Either if it has to be female or only F. So usually as a data analyst, you will come across these questions. You'll come across these types of data sets. This is what a filtered data should look alike. Either you can use a complete gender or else you can use initials. M is male, F is female. Data cleaning examples. Let's take one more example. Same people, maybe from the same backdrop, I've taken this. Ankit is 22 years old. Hema is 300 months old. Kartika is 30 years old. The information has to be in years because in months, it is very difficult to understand what is her or his exact age. Now, in that case, we have to make sure the data is filtered. Now, that is the role of a data analyst. Age in exact years. The best fit format is years. Okay, we can take all in months also, but it is of no use case. Shweta, what is this? 1990, how come it is only 32? How come it is only 32? If she, is it 32 or more than 32? We have to make sure the data is correct. Yep, it has to be 33. Role of data analyst is not only to filter, not only to understand, but to also verify the data is correct or not. I'm trying to see what exactly the data should look alike. Now we have seen few examples. How many of you know this person? How many of you know this person?
Neeraj Chopra.
Mm-hmm. And who is he?
He's an athlete.
Okay. Now with this picture, okay, we might know this person has won a gold medal in Olympics. But how many of you know what is his best throw? Whether a gold medal in Olympics was his best throw or in any other event. We might have won, or he might have won gold medal for us in India. Okay, now I've got few answers in the chat, but if I wanted to highlight, this is what his best throws are. 89.94 meter, June 2022. His best throw prior to Olympics. Maybe somewhere in Asian Games also, he had 88.06 in 2018. See, we only know this person. Why? Because we have seen him. We have, I mean, it's a pictorial representation, but very rarely people will try to read what that information is about. His highest throw. How many of you know who is the trainer of this person? Who is the trainer? Because trainer also plays an important role. Your coach, your trainer, he also plays an important role. Now, if I want to give you information, his trainer was Naseem Shah. His trainers was Naseem Shah from 2018 till 2021 April. From 2021 April, this person is his trainer. Now, this person has the highest throw in the world. This person has the highest throw in the world in terms of what this sport is called as. What this sport is called as. He has a kind of stick in his hand. What this sport is called as.
Javelin throw.
Okay, javelin throw.
Javelin throw.
So javelin throw in complete world, the best javelin throw, or which is the world record, is done by this person, more than 100 meters. Who is coaching Neeraj Chopra? nowadays, Ove on, this person has the record of highest throw in world. This is a world record. Now you'll get all this information if you go back and try to read your newspapers when Neeraj Chopra got a gold medal. But what we do is we only first see his picture. Okay, he has got a gold for India. That's one of the biggest, could say, plus point for India, that this person has got a gold. But who is training him? Where that person belongs to? What exactly this person has done in his previous days? This person has the highest throw in the world. This is his world record. If you go back and check, more than 100 meters throw he has a record of. Reading the information. But only if you see a picture, that is very good. I mean, for understanding the information, that is very good. But we have to go back and first try to see what that exact information is about. So from today, I would request who wants to learn Power BI, I'm not saying read novels, read storybooks, read reference books, read whatever data is present in your eyes. Only 10 lines of information, start with 10 lines. Maybe after some days, you'll used to learn, you'll used to read that information. This will improve our efficiency as a data analyst. Even if you are using your Instagram and you will come across a news, you will only see one-liner news. With that photo, you'll only see what one-liner news. Headlines is there. Do not only read headlines, try to read 2 or 3 more lines. Headlines will give you wrong interpretation, whereas if you read it in detail, you'll get background. For a data analyst, background plays an important role. Now, I'll take an example here. This is a long jump information. There are multiple people here. And a coach was assigned. A new coach has been working with long jump team this month. And this is what the athletic performance is about. Now, John was jumping around 0.15 meters, Tom 0.11, Julie 0.06, Carol 0.06, Bob 0.12, and Sam in negative. In negative, he has jumped. Negative means his record is not that great. Now, with a new coach being assigned, John can jump 0.15. Okay, this record is good. Carol can jump 0.06 meter further. Now, what is this backdrop? Let's first see what is the backdrop. This is how the information look alike. Now, what I'll do, I'll move to the next slide. Here you'll get the information. The average performance of all the individuals is this. The average performance of all the individuals is this. 0.15, 0.11, these are all the individual performance. If I scroll it back for every individual. Now, if you see here, somewhere the average performance is minus 0.06 by total 6. This person has a huge impact. What that person name is Sam. That person name is Sam. This is his average performance. And so the average performance went down. That means earlier, this Sam person was having a good record, but with the new coach who has been training them, his individual performance has gone down. Now that is also hampering the performance of overall coach. Overall coach, the performance is obviously gone down. Is it the right way to interpret the data? We can directly say that coach is of no use. Okay, if it is of no, why is it no? If anyone thinks, you can directly come up to the conclusion that coach is of no use. Now, if you see the question again, earlier John was not jumping. I mean, his record has improved from somewhere he used to jump 0.05, but his record has improved by 0.15. This is his improvement. Tom has also improved by 0.11 meters. Julie has also improved her efficiency by 0.06 meters. Whereas only the person Sam, his record has decreased by 0.56 meters. Assume that John was jumping earlier 6 meters. Now he's jumping 6.15. This is how this question works. So this is how this question goes ahead. But Sam, earlier, who used to jump 5 meters, it has decreased to 4.44 meters. With this only change, do you think you can come up to the conclusion that coach is of no use? Let's take a few more scenarios. Let us try the result without Sam. I have skipped Sam, total 5 people rather than 6 because I've skipped Sam. The coach looks much better. Why? Because performance has improved 0.10 meters on an average for every individual. Minimum, this is the average meters a person is trying to jump more as compared to the previous long jumps. You have to first make sure where the data is going wrong. We have understood that Sam's performance is going down. That is why it is hampering the overall performance of a coach. But if you remove Sam, with that, the coach performance is much, much better. Understanding the information. Now you can come up to the conclusion at the end that we find out, you can come up to a conclusion. We find out Sam was not feeling, or maybe he is not feeling good on that day. He was sick on that day. It is not the coach's fault at all. Some or other day, a person will have maybe a bad record. Maybe that day specific date does not belong to that person. But we cannot assume that coach is the main culprit there. So observation, analysis is the root of the decision. Once you analyze it, you have to always show where it is going wrong. Evidence and proof. This is always asked. Where our sales is going down. Why is it going down? You as a data analyst have to make sure you are giving that information to the stakeholder that this is the region you have to focus, which is where your sales is going down due to increase in product price or maybe increase in whatever. I mean, you might come across multiple scenarios. That scenario you have to understand, you have to share that evidence and proof. Observation is there, analysis is there, but if you're not giving evidence and proof, how can you come up to the conclusion? This has to be always present. Now, for a data analyst, all these aspects comes into picture. We are yet to touch Power BI, but prior to that, if you're working in any individual product, maybe is it Power BI, maybe is it Tableau, maybe is it ClickView, is it MicroStrategy, any reporting tool, prior to that, understanding the information is much, much important factor. Now, moving further, we are now at the business intelligence stage. What exactly business intelligence means? Business intelligence means it's a combination of business analytics, data mining, data visualization, tools and infrastructure, and best practices to help organization make more data-driven decisions. That means make more revenue-driven. I'll keep it as revenue. Data means revenue here, because whatever data we have, we try to interpret in terms of sales, interpret in terms of revenue. Revenue is an important factor. Now, these are all combination. For a business intelligence role, you have to know data warehousing. You have to know data discovery and visualization, which is nothing but our Power BI. Now, what do you mean by data warehousing? Means your historical data. Your historical data. You have to know master data management. How do you manage that data? You have to know the modernization of data. Now, what do you mean by modernization? How that data flow is coming? Where is it coming from? What all aspects are there? Is it an ETL tool? Whether there is a separate tool assigned to it, that all information, you have to modernize that data. Data governance. How do you govern that data? Govern means, is it the correct data? Analysis of data. Understanding whether is it correct or not. Data integration. Where, from which location, and what all technical aspects are beyond where the data is coming from. Now, this self-service BI is more related to artificial intelligence. The introduction of Copilot, these are all self-service BI. You can write a question and it will try to answer the question. Role of business intelligence or role of business analyst is you have to understand all the scenarios. Now, moving ahead, we'll also see what exactly a Power BI is. Why only Power BI? What exactly Power BI? Power BI analyzes the data. It helps to clean the data. It helps to visualize the data. Now, in a demo session, I have got a question that Power BI has a Power Query. Now we'll come to this. What do you mean by Power Query? Now, in simple terms, Power Query works like a ETL tool. Why is there a requirement? We also need to learn ADF, which is also an ETL tool. Now I'll take a simple example. How many of you own a good iPhone? I've seen only 5 or 6 people who own a good iPhone. So out of these 5-6 people, who is a professional photographer? Who is a professional photographer? A professional means you need not own an Instagram page. Okay. Professional photographer means not picking photos. You visit a wedding, you are trying to click the pictures there and you share it with the person, the wedding, I mean, groom and bride. With your iPhone, you do that. Okay, I've seen many people, they have raised their hands. The question is, you own an iPhone. That is okay. But with your iPhone, are you trying to click wedding pictures? Are you trying to click birthday pictures? Okay, you can click it for your own. Maybe you can share it on the WhatsApp. But whether do you click these pictures and use it for printing it? You will not use it. I'm damn sure out of all the iPhone users, you'll only pick it and you'll share it on the social media. But whereas a professional photographer, if he's trying to click a picture from a camera, he can also print that. Maybe the clarity of picture is more as compared to an iPhone. Our primary use case of phone is for calling, for multitasking. Okay, there is a camera associated with it. Multitasking means it also includes camera. Whereas the primary use case of a DSLR camera is only to click pictures, not to call, not to send pictures, or not to share pictures via social media. You cannot do multitasking with the help of DSLR camera. The only use case is you can click pictures. Now that is how the difference of ADF and Power Query is. Power Query is a combinated, or you can say it's a combination of product with a complete Power BI suite. It can handle the data up to some point. After that point, maybe 50K, maybe 50 lakh records. Beyond that, you cannot utilize Power Query for all other perspective. There are limitations. In order to come across that limitation, that is the reason we are learning this individual ADF, which is an inbuilt cloud ETL tool in Azure. You can assume DSLR as ADF. You can assume your phone, your iPhone as Power Query. Phone has Power Query, phone has Power View, phone has calling, phone has camera, phone you can do your social media, you can connect with people. Whereas in case of camera, the only use case is clicking pictures, that too in a HD format. The main use case is clicking pictures using DSLR. That is the main use case of ADF. It only works on extraction. It only works on transformation. It only works on loading the data. Whereas Power Query is a combined product with the complete Power BI suite. Now we are going to see what all components are there. But prior going to that, the difference between use case of Power Query and ADF. That is the reason there is slight difference between the use case. ADF does the work of ETL way more good, or I'm not saying Power Query is not that good. Power Query is also good, but if you use ADF, it will solve our problem. Most of our problems are solved in the ADF itself rather than going to Power Query. Now the question is, are we going to cover Power Query in detail? Yes, in detail we are going to cover in this course. We are not skipping any module. Now, apart from Power BI, there are many tools. ClickView, Tableau, we have MicroStrategy, we have Sisense. I'm not sure how many of you heard about this tool, Sisense. This is also used by few organizations. There are few more tools. Google Looker. There's a tool from Google, which tool is called as Google Looker. Oracle also has their own reporting tool. These are all BI related tools. But why only Power BI is the market leader that we are going to see? See, these are the few reasons why we need to move to Power BI. Why Power BI as compared to any other BI product or as compared to any reporting tool? In Power BI, we get interactive dashboards and report. Now, this is common in all the BI tools. Real-time information, okay, even this is common. Integration with wide array of data sources. In Power BI, you can connect 99 plus data sources. If I give you a rough figure, around 135 or 140. In case you can integrate it with the Excel, maybe this option is not available in all the data sources, all the BI tools. It is cost saving. Why is it cost saving as compared to other tools? Power BI desktop is a free product, whereas Tableau, if you want to download, you can download Tableau server version or probably Tableau free version where you'll not get all the accesses. You can also download ClickView. But if you want to share the reports in Power BI, you have to pay $10 per month per user. That is for pro account. If you compare it with Tableau, if you compare it with ClickView, they are way more costlier. Now that comparison, we are coming to the point after this slide. But for that, in order to understand why only Power BI, it's one of the most cost saving or cost effective tool. Frequent and consistent updates. Microsoft is a market leader in few other segments also. The OS segment, operating system segment. Out of around all the laptops in the world, I guess around more than 50% of the laptops run on Windows. 50% plus laptops in the world run on Windows. In Windows, you'll also get frequent updates from Microsoft, maybe your driver updates, maybe your operating system updates, or any small updates. Similarly, in Power BI, you can expect or you will get all these updates on frequent basis. On monthly basis, there are few updates in every Power BI. Now you can connect it with the other Microsoft apps. This is one more added advantage. They have introduced an AI system called as Copilot. Earlier, Q&A was there, which is similar like Copilot. Now we are in this course, we are going to cover what do you mean by Copilot and how to use it. It is very simple. Use of AI is very simple, and you will have a question that if AI has come into picture, whether there is a need of data analyst or not. See, cleaning of data, AI will not do. Modeling of data, AI will not do. Understanding of data, AI will not do. Only what AI does is in Power BI with the help of Copilot is it can create charts. It can create charts. It can answer a question only if there is a modeling, only if that data is cleaned. And for that, you have to do a manual work. AI will not take any jobs. Now, one more important point is collaboration and sharing. This is with respect to Power BI service. You can share report with multiple people. The only thing you have to do is you need to purchase a pro license, which will cost you $10. That is around 800 or 850 Indian rupees per month, per user per month. No geographic limit to accessing Power BI. This is globally available. Even if you're coming from any of the country, from Middle East, from Africa, wherever you are off, you can use this Power BI. These are few advantages why we should move to Power BI. Now we'll see few more differences and why only Power BI that we are going to see. Now this is a magic quadrant. I'm not sure how many of you know about this, but in the demo session also I've given you an idea. The Gartner is the company which analyzes each and every product, and they try to interpret it in terms of quadrants. Now here, this quadrant is the leaders quadrant. For every leader, there is a challenger. For every challenger, there are niche players. And for every niche player, they are visionaries. Now, this is how a quadrant works. This is the flow of cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, in the leaders segment, we have 3. And the gap between Tableau and Microsoft is more. Now, this we have seen in the demo. But why am I saying it? Why am I showing it now again? Now, it's a kind of SWOT analysis. Yes, it can be a SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. But see, in case of SWOT analysis, you will write somewhere here strength, you will write somewhere here weakness, you will write somewhere here opportunity, you will write somewhere here as threat. This might look like SWOT analysis, but no, this is not a SWOT analysis. This is purely a quadrant. Here, you can assume this as a leaders quadrant, where all the leaders related to BI tools or reporting tools are present. The gap between Microsoft and Salesforce is high. Do you think that Microsoft has captured this market with 1 or 2 years? No. But the answer is yes. Tableau was market leader. It has captured the market share from MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, prior to Tableau, MicroStrategy was the market leader, but it took almost 7 to 8 years to capture the Tableau market. Whereas Microsoft Power BI only took 1 year or 2 years to capture the market. That is how fast this product has evolved. Now that we are going to see, this is 2023. I'll go back to 2015. Year when Power BI was introduced was 2015. 2015, it was introduced on July 25th, 24th or 25th. I'm missing the exact date, but on July 24th or 25th, in 2015, this product was introduced to the world. Now, if you see here, in 2015, Tableau was the market leader. Whereas with the introduction itself, Microsoft was placed in the leader quadrant, but way more below than Tableau and Qlik. Qlik means QlikView or QlikSense. QlikView and QlikSense are both a combined product. Now, if you move ahead, the gap is more. Tableau is leader here. Okay, the gap between QlikView and Microsoft is very slow. Microsoft means Power BI, very low. But still, Qlik was the market second leader. Now, if I go to 2016, somewhere the 3 people are in the quadrant 1 only till today. But if you see, Tableau's market dominance has came down, whereas Microsoft dominance is somewhere increasing. It was here. Probably it is stable here, but the Tableau's market dominance has came down. This is in 2016. Now, if I move to 2017, see, it has overtaken. Microsoft has overtaken Qlik. It is somewhere in competition with Tableau directly. This is 17. This is 18. Still the same. You can say that both of them are market leaders, both at the same position. Here also, you can see there is very slight change, but still you can assume that these are market leaders. Only in 2016, it was introduced in 15, but the very next year, it was somewhere comparing. It has made sure that the Tableau's market dominance has came down. In 17, both at the same position. In 18, both at the same position. Now let's see the magic in 19. The position, there is a slight change. There is a gap. There is a slight gap. Microsoft is the leader here. Within 1 or 2 years, it has captured the market. Okay, for 2 years, it was comparing directly with Tableau at the same place, but still comparing with a Tableau, which is already a market leader for last 7 years. Prior to Power BI, this was market leader for 7+ years. Prior to this, MicroStrategy was market leader for 9 to 10 years. But it almost took 7 years or more than 7 years to capture the market dominance from MicroStrategy to Tableau, but it only took 1 or 2 years from Tableau to Microsoft. Why? Because we have seen we have seen the reasons why it has captured the market share. Yeah, Gayatri and Ajay, you have a question here. Your voice is not audible, Ajay, it seems. You can post it in chat. Maybe I'll try to answer it in between. Now moving to 2020, probably we have seen 19, 20 again market leader, 21 again market leader. Now, if you see the gap has increased. In 21, the gap is more. The same goes with 22. The same goes with the 2023, which is the first chart which we have seen. This is the first chart, 2023, market dominance of Microsoft. So Ajay, you're not audible. We have seen all these years. Let's see few more important trends. Now, this is a Google trend. You can always search. You can always search multiple products here and you can analyze it in terms of trends. In terms of Indian market, you can see the dominance of Power BI. Every state is searching more a kind of Power BI. Very less states. This state, Arunachal Pradesh, I guess this is Mizoram. These are the only two states which are searching Tableau here. Now, if you see this, Jammu and Kashmir, now wherever there are lines, somewhere these lines are present, these lines belongs to Click. Now here, Power BI and ClickView are searched more. Here, Tableau and ClickView are searched more. Here only Tableau is searched more. Apart from these three states, now I'll include this Jammu and Kashmir also. Every Indian state is searching this Microsoft Power BI more. Trending of Power BI. Now, this is simply an example. People are searching more a kind of Power BI rather than Tableau. Now, Ajay has a question that why Salesforce and Tableau in the same, same quadrant, or why is it clubbed together? Tableau was an independent product earlier. If you see till 2021, it was an independent product. But after 2021, in 22, Salesforce organization has purchased complete Tableau system. Tableau was a software company. Tableau is a product. They have overtaken that product. Overtaken means they have purchased that complete organization, including the product. That is why it is Salesforce Tableau. Why they have purchased? In order to compete with Microsoft. Now, we have seen few trends also. We will see few comparisons. Comparison between Tableau and Power BI. Power BI has around 30 default charts. Default chart means in the visualization pane, somewhere you'll get this visualization pane like this, and there are few charts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, somewhere charts are present. We have to see around 30 plus default charts are available in Power BI. Now the question comes, apart from these 30 charts, there are around 300 charts available from Marketplace. You can download external charts as well. Whereas in case of Tableau, there are only default 24 charts, and you if in case you want to get some more charts, you have to write a code. You have to write some specific script there to get this information in Tableau. You can connect around 100 plus data sources. You can connect around 77 data sources. One more advantage. Use of Power Query. If the data is low, you can simply use this ETL tool, which is inbuilt ETL tool, which is Power Query. In case of Tableau, if you want to clean the data, if you want to sort out the data, most of the use cases, people will always go with Alteryx. This is a separate ETL tool. There is no inbuilt ETL tool. 300 functions are available. Now, current is around 350. 350. Yes, you're audible.
Alteryx also is a Salesforce product, right?
Alteryx is also a Salesforce product. Yeah, it's a Salesforce product, but it is not in combination with Tableau. This is separate product. This is separate product.
Yeah, I got your point. Okay.
Both products you have to learn individually. Now, in terms of functions, 350 plus functions are available. That means 350 plus DAX formulas are available in Power BI, whereas in case of Tableau, around 220. This was 180 plus, but I guess there are around 220. I only note up to 200 or 210, but now the product, the amount has increased to 220. Because there is a comparison between Tableau and Power BI. Even Tableau people are working around how can we improve the product. Now here, one advantage you'll get, unlimited storage. But with this advantage, you have to pay $70 US per user per month. Here you'll get 100 TB storage. 100 TB means you can store around lakhs of reports. Whereas it is only costing $10. Accepted, you can store 200 TB here also. In Power BI, you can store 200 TB, but you are paying more. Whereas 100 TB is more than enough for any individual reporting or data analyst. More than enough. But you are only paying $10, 850, 800 to 850 in terms of Indian rupees. This is 7 8 5,600 per user per month. Difference of amount.
This is 850 for a monthly or like how it's work?
Yeah, it is for monthly. Pro license. This is for pro license. Premium license is a premium product. You have to pay around $4,995, but a premium license comes up with multiple combinations. Combinations means if there is an organization, there are 500 or there are 5,000 people working in an organization. I'll keep it as 5,000. You may need not purchase 5,000 different pro license. You can go ahead with the premium license. In premium license, you can add more than 300 people. So for 5,000, if you're trying to purchase individual pro license, that means 5 into 10. That means how it will get 50 and 5,000, 3 more zeros. You have to pay this amount, $50,000 for 5,000 people, $10 per user per month. Whereas if you want to pay, if you have purchased a premium license, which will only cost less than 5K, which is 4,995, here you can add more than 300 people. If an organization with more than 300 people are working in Power BI, they can simply go ahead and purchase a premium license, which will help us reducing the cost. Now, this is only with Tableau. If you compare it with Click, Click is somewhat cheaper than Tableau. Okay. $30 per user per month. This is $10 per user per month. Installation, simple process. Click view installation. It is the complex. It is way more complex. I'm not sure how many people are working on Click, but it is very complex. Now, storage capacity. Now, this is only for Pro. If you're using a premium, it will go to 100 TB also. Now, you have to make sure what kind of storage, what kind of license you're using. Click you, okay, accepted. It is giving you 500 GB of cloud storage, but installation is way more complex. That is where one drawback is there. User friendliness of Power BI is very easy, drag and drop. Click view, bit tough to get started. Now we have seen two comparisons, Power BI and Click, Power BI and Tableau. Let us see one more comparison, Power BI and MicroStrategy. Now why I have kept MicroStrategy also, because this was one of the market dominance tool 10 years back or maybe 15 years back. If you see here, user friendliness, this is an important factor, more complex. Okay. MicroStrategy can be primarily used for large scale enterprises, whereas Power BI can be used from small to large scale. If there is an organization who has only 50 employees, they want to work on Power BI and they also want to work on MicroStrategy, they'll always opt for Power BI. Why? Because Power BI supports small organizations, small enterprises with $10 per user per month, whereas in case of MicroStrategy, you have to pay complete product. It is only specially designed for large scale enterprises. But with that, Power BI is way more friendly, whereas MicroStrategy is complex. Pricing with free version desktop and very less in terms of service. It is more expensive. Now, there are multiple other factors also, which also plays an important role. We have seen three comparisons. Why only Power BI? Why not MicroStrategy? Why not Click? Why not Tableau? Now, at the end, this is the history of Power BI. July 24, 2015, this product was launched. Now, forget about only these companies. There are many Indian companies which are also using Power BI, which also includes SBI. The Indian government bank is using, SBI is using this Power BI for their analytical purpose. The government of India, ITR department, income tax department, is also using Power BI for their revenue analysis. Many other organizations, these are only few names, many other organizations, Indian organizations, many worldwide special organizations, many worldwide leader organizations are using Power BI for the reporting, for their analysis purpose. How Power BI works? There are two different entities. One is Power BI Desktop. Now, Power BI Desktop is a combination of multiple other products. We are going to see that. You'll get data from multiple sources, maybe CSV data, maybe a database or a data warehouse data, maybe a cloud data. Maybe you can get the web API data also. Your website APIs also, you can pull it to the Power BI. Once that is done, once a report, now whatever you have to do it here. Either you can use an ETL tool here, an external ETL tool like ADF to filter out the data and then get that data here. Once you get the data to the Power BI Desktop, you have to make sure you are understanding that data, creating a modeling of data, and then you are going with the reporting, visualization. Once that is done, if you want to share that, you have to use a Power BI service. These are two main entities of Power BI. Now within Power BI Desktop, you have these many products, or you have these many options available. Power Query is there, Power View is there. Now Power BI Desktop is a combination of all this. Power BI Website is there, Power Q&A is there, Power BI Mobile Apps is there, Power Pivot is there, and Power Map is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 combinations club together to form a Power BI Desktop. And if you want to share a report, you can use Power BI Website. Now, this is an added advantage. If you want to develop mobile applications, now that means mobile applications means reports which are easily visualized, which can be analyzed from the mobile also, you can do it with the help of Power BI mobile option in the Power BI Desktop itself. 5 more components, or 5 most important components. Yeah, Julie, you can go ahead with your question.
Hi, Manish. I'm sorry. Hi, Ritesh. My question is, if we doing well in Power BI, and suppose or maybe Tableau, and the team is moving towards, they wanted to migrate to Power BI. Is it easy if we do just learn one technology? Is it easy to do another tool also?
Yes, I was coming to that point. Now, coming in the sense, maybe we would have covered how a migration project works. The first and foremost thing, I'll answer it in simple way. There is a concept called as SLA, Service Level Agreement. In that SLA, what is mentioned is there is a Tableau report. You have to migrate that to Power BI. There is a time frame mentioned. Now, you need not have to be having an expertise in understanding Tableau. If you go to that Tableau report, you only have to analyze what that report is. You will get that data source. There is some external data source associated with that. Get that data source, load that data directly to Power BI, and create same visualizations just like Tableau. Maybe same to same, 99% similarity is not there. You'll get something 70% of similarity, but that is also okay in real world. In real-time project, if 70% of the report which is moved from Tableau to Power BI is matching, it is also okay. The important factor here is you are saving so much money. For Tableau, you are spending around $70. Maybe for Tableau Premium, or there is a Tableau combination product, you have to pay more than that. In case of Power BI, this is cost effective, user friendly, drag and drop. SLA plays an important role. You have to first understand what is the service level agreement, what is the time frame to migrate this report, and then understanding the data. Okay, reporting can be done separately in Power BI. The visual which is present in Tableau may not be that visual easily available in Power BI, or visual which is present in Power BI, vice versa, is not available in Tableau. Now you have to make sure you have to get that visual right, make sure the data is correctly interpreted, and then share it with the client that this is how the visual looks like in Tableau, but I have changed it in Power BI. Why? Because this looks more interesting. This gives us some more aspects. Now these are all components. Once we'll go through each and every individual component in this course. Yes, we would be covering each and every individual component. Power Q&A is nothing but your co-pilot. Power Q&A is also a kind of artificial intelligence tool. It uses NLP, natural language processing, and it processes the data. In case of Power Q&A, you can ask a question, and depending on that, it will create a visual for you. Whereas in case of Copilot, it will create a visual. It will also write a DAX. That is one advantage you'll get in case of Copilot. But in order to write a DAX, you need to have a data, and that data should be a modeled data. That data should be a cleaned data that cannot be done with the help of Copilot. That has to be done manually. Individual data analyst has to do that. Now, this is how a Power BI desktop page look alike. Now we are going to cover what this UI look alike. But prior going to that, I would always recommend to download Power BI. Now, how do you download Power BI? How do you download Power BI? Power BI desktop. Simply type this. You can go to this Microsoft official website. Sorry. Click on English. Click on download. Now you'll get few options here. Into 64 .exe file. Both of them would work. There isn't much difference. Both of them would work. If you simply click on download, it will download that specific file. Either you can go with this, either you can go with this. Do not download both the files. This is also fine. This is also fine. Download either of them. Now, if you think this has the more size, go with this. There isn't much difference. Download it. I'll simply click on this. Click on download. It will take some time to download. Once you download it, you have to install it. Somewhere it would be installed in your C drive. Once you install, this is how the first or the default page look alike in Power BI. Now, what this page is, what all components are there, we have seen the components, the name of the components. How is it different? What component is called, where is that component? What is Power View? What is Power Pivot? What is Power Query? That we are going to see tomorrow. I'm good with today's session. I'm done with today's explanation. Why reporting? Why we need Power BI? Why only Power BI? We have seen few scenarios. I'm open for questions. Any questions you have. Now, I also wanted to highlight one more thing. Let me open Notepad. Now, there are already people who have joined this course prior to Power BI with SQL. We have already completed SQL. People who are interested to join now, for you also SQL will be covered. Yes, there are multiple courses going parallelly in KSR. Either you can attend SQL there, or else once we complete Power BI and Azure, you can re-attend SQL classes in the new batch. Now, I would be the same trainer there. This is covered. Apart from SQL, we are going to cover Power BI. Yes, we are going to cover Power BI with around 30-35 sessions. I'll keep it as 35 days, maximum of 35 days, after which we are going to cover Azure, which is around 20-25 days, around 1 month. And the course duration, as I've said, this is, if you compare only around 2.5 months. And if you get this SQL, around 3.5 months, or in complete 4 months course. We have already completed SQL. If you want to learn SQL, you would be given a chance to learn SQL in other sessions also. If you're not satisfied there, yes, you can wait till these 2 courses to be completed. You will also get SQL again in a new batch where I would be the same trainer. And the duration, as I've said, it is of 3.5 to 4 months, including SQL. If you skip SQL, I'll not say you are skipping SQL. You learn SQL in between Power BI and Azure with some other sessions. It would be around 2.5 months. 4 months incomplete. In case of skipping SQL, I'm not saying skipping. In case you are learning SQL in between Power BI and Azure, it would be 2.5 months. In case SQL is merged or learned in between. There are many sessions going on apart from data analyst. There is a data engineering session. There is a data science session. So for every course, there is a Snowflake course also. For every course, SQL is must. So SQL concepts which we cover is almost similar in every course. So you can attend any of this course in parallelly. The course fees is around 30K. You will get a discount of flat 3,000 if you make a one-time payment. if you are making a 2 installments, probably you'll get 28 or 28 or 28.5 something. This you can confirm it while making a payment in case of 2 installments. If you want to make 3 installments, it would be around 10K per installment. Now, this is all about course. I'm open for questions. Now, the thing is what we are going to cover in Azure. Just a moment, I'll share that deck also. I'm resharing the deck. Now, this is the complete course information in detail. SQL 20 days, which we have already completed. Power BI around 35 sessions. Azure Cloud Basics 5 sessions. Data Factory related sessions 10. And the other in-depth sessions, which includes Databricks, Synapse, and Logic Apps for a data analyst point of perspective, 10 more days. So these are all components. These are all aspects we are going to cover. I've already given you an explanation why we need to learn an additional ETL tool, because ADF is an independent ETL tool. It is more powerful than a Power Query. There are few limitations for Power Query. Yes, you can do ETL there, but with that limitations, you have to always come back, take a step back, and learn an additional ETL tool. Now, ADF, why only ADF? ADF is a product of Microsoft because it's a part and parcel of Microsoft Azure. Whatever you do in ADF, that can be easily pulled into Power BI rather than using any standalone ETL product like Informatica, like Snowflake. There are connectors for Snowflake. There are connectors for Informatica also in Power BI, but ADF is the best fit. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We would be starting with Power BI use case tomorrow. Use case means how a Power BI looks like, what all components we have, that would be starting tomorrow. Yep. Thank you, everyone. Have a very good day.